nature of the Great Seal is so mysterious that some believe that it came from a supernatural force. An account recorded by Dr. Robert Hieronymus in his book, Founding Fathers, Secret Societies, says that the Great Seal was given to Thomas Jefferson by a mysterious cloaked figure. The account reads that Jefferson told a strange story. A man approached him wearing a black cloak that practically covered him, face and all, and told him that he, the strange visitor, knew they were trying to devise a seal, and that he had a design which was appropriate and meaningful.
Jefferson, of course, looked at it according to this story and said, "This is it. This is it." And he knew it was it. He was right. So he supposedly came running back into whether it was a tent or whatever it was, and he showed it to other individuals, and he told them about, they met this person outside. Of course, they went outside to go to find the guy, and he's gone. So supposedly we'll never find out who designed the Great Seal of the United States.
While Dr. Hieronymus admits that he is skeptical about such stories, there are others who claim to believe them to this day. Perhaps it has something to do with John Adams, who was on the first seal committee with Thomas Jefferson. According to the written account, John Adams was there when this bizarre event took place. Oddly enough, the Adams Memorial in Washington, D.C. is adorned with this mysterious cloaked figure. Perhaps it's just a coincidence.
The American $1 bill is full of magical symbolism. Many people know about the magical significance of the design of the Great Seal of the United States, yet they only know half of the truth. We have been told that the seal of the United States is merely a coat of arms, or what is called a layman in magic. It is true that the Great Seal is a layman or coat of arms that represents uniting the original 13 colonies into one country. Yet it is more than just a layman. The coat of arms is only half the story, albeit the only story you know. Let's look at the major magical symbolism found on the $1 bill. Looking at the obverse or front side of the $1 bill, our eyes land directly on the image of George Washington, and we are immediately reminded of his Masonic heritage. George is framed by the Greek letter Omega. The Omega on the $1 bill is a direct reference to God. Omega is the end of an old way of life for the start of a new, better way. On the square on the Treasury Department seal, there are 13 pentagram stars. The most frequently used symbolic reference found on the $1 bill is to the number 13. Through the Hebrew system of gematria, letters are broken down into numbers. The words love and unity both equate to the number 13. Found on the reverse or back side of the $1 bill is a wealth of highly significant magical symbolism used in Western Kabbalistic ceremonial magic. On the center of the bill is the only English phrase used on the reversed side. It reads, "In God we trust." "In God we trust" came from a hymn or invocation to the American people by Aleister Crowley. It is an invocation to manifest the new aeon or age and drive America and the world into independence. The real magic takes place on the Great Seal of the United States. On the obverse side of the Great Seal, there are
13 stars above the eagle's head, 13 stripes in the shield, 13 leaves on the olive branch, 13 arrows in the eagle's talon, and then 13 letters in the phrase E pluribus unum, which makes for 2 points on either side of the eagle's head, for the 6 points total of the hexagram.
Furthermore, the 13 pentagram stars are united into one hexagram star, symbolizing unity of man or woman with the universe, the unity of the macrocosm and the microcosm. As above, so below. As below, so above. A pentagram represents the microcosm, which is related to a human. A hexagram represents the universe. When a hexagram is superimposed over the pyramid, the letters A, S, M, O, and N are connected. Looking at the reverse of the seal, we are again bombarded with 13. There are 13 letters in the phrase Annuit Coeptis, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 steps in the pyramid. The truncated pyramid with the capstone floating above is also a symbolic version of the microcosm and the macrocosm. The base of the pyramid represents the microcosm, or human, and the eye in the capstone represents the macrocosm, or universe. The same eye is found on statues of Buddha as his third eye. This is the eye of Horus, the all-seeing celestial eye. The pyramid is a representation of a person sitting in meditation. The capstone or keystone represents the brain. A capstone connected with the truncated pyramid to make a complete pyramid represents the uniting with what's now there.
And of course, many of the people who are living in age are after the projection and in contact with the spirit beings, and there really are spirit beings out there. They refer to them as the masters of wisdom, or the great white brotherhood, or the enlightened ones. And they believe that they are guiding society. These are actually demonic forces and demonic beings. And of course, they can materialize and disappear. And the average individual says, oh, that can't be true. And yet it is true. When we talk to the people who are dealing with this, they come in contact with this many times. They have accessed this other dimension, which is truly the demonic dimension.
Opening your third eye is what this book is all about.
Appears in the banner held in the mouth of the American eagle. The word one appears a total of 7 times on the dollar bill. Overson writes, in magical numerology, the number 7 is regarded with special veneration. Certain texts that deal with the meanings of numbers insist that 7 stands for the complete temple. The temple he refers to is the ancient temple of God, built by King Solomon in the city of Jerusalem. Overson goes on to say that the concept of a complete temple is symbolized by the unfinished pyramid of the Great Seal, where the symbol of a Messiah figure is also shown with the all-seeing eye, representing the capstone that will one day complete the pyramid. In other words, when the Messiah emerges, then will the temple be complete. But just who this Messiah will be is the subject of intense debate, and the clues to his identity are said to be related to the temple itself.
Into astral projection and in contact with these spirit beings, and there really are spirit beings out there. They refer to them as the masters of wisdom, or the great white brotherhood, or the enlightened ones, and they believe that they are guiding society. These are actually demonic forces and demonic beings. And of course, they can materialize and disappear. The average individual says, oh, that can't be true. And yet it is true. And when you talk to the people who are dealing with this, they come in contact with this many times. They have accessed this other dimension, which is truly a demonic dimension. And of course, tragically, it's becoming increasingly apparent here in America as we turn our back on God, and we're not really a secular society. We've gone from being a Christian society to a secular society, and now a society dominated by the occult forces, of which are intent upon ruling the world.
If it's true that the Roriks were in contact with the spirit realm, is it then possible that these same powers could have somehow influenced the design of the dollar bill?
And I know some of this is review for people that have gone through this, but I still think for people that don't know this, it's important to understand these things. This is a dollar bill, which is the now devalued dollar bill. And on the back of the dollar bill, there's a seal on this side. It's called the Great Seal of the United States. That's what it's called. It's their seal. Now, behind the seal, this is actually what is behind the Great Seal of the United States, is a pyramid with one eye. Now, the one eye is the sun god, Re, which is where we get the word ray, sun rays. It is the sun god, same Mithraic character. And he shows up again and again. This is the Masonic god of the ray. If you look, you'll see the pyramid is built except for the top. It's built except for the top. The eye is suspended above the top. It hasn't come down yet. Because they believe until they've finished the Masonic project, which is the what they say on the bottom, Novus Ordo Seclorum, and then Annueta Cheptis, he is pleased with our project. In other words, the God they believe in is pleased with our project. What is the project? This is the question. What is the project that this God is pleased with? The project is literally the secularization of the world. To completely strip the world from religious beliefs. This is the project, and that is why it is called Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new secular or worldly order. If you translate that into Arabic, it would be a Nizam al-Alami ad-Dunyawi, not al-Jadid. It would be a Dunyawi, the new temporal order, the new order of the world. And we know what dunya is in Arabic. Dunya has a negative connotation in Islam, unlike alam, which does not have a negative connotation. If you read the Quran, alam is not a negative connotation. Rabb al-Alameen, Allah is Lord of the Alameen. We are part of the alam. The alam is the passive form of alim. It's what is known. It is how we know al-alim. The world is how we know Allah. We don't know Allah through dunya. Dunya is the illusory nature of the world. It's the gharura, it's the aspect of the world that deludes you, thinking that you're permanent, thinking that you can transgress, thinking that you're independent from Allah. This is the dunya.